The Knicks took it deep last night, Savory.
Where?
Yeah. They couldn't recover. I'm feeling hype about today. I'm feeling hype. I got my cafe here. It's brewing hot, baby. Coffee is hot, bro. Mm-hmm. And we have ourselves a viewer. Hello and welcome. All right. You ready, Savory?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm here. You know I have to get the drink. Can't be at drink to the nobody without a drink. So
Facts.
you almost caught me slipping.
Almost.
But we here.
We're steady booming. We're steady booming.
Today, man?
Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another live broadcast. I know we're a bit late today, but hey, it's our private broadcast, and I'm glad and thankful that everyone will be able to join us and watch us, and hopefully we could experiment a bit with the time as well. So I'm Macho, that's Savory, and you're watching us on Nobody TV. All right, that's right. You're watching us at Drinks with a Nobody. Be sure to follow us on Twitch at MachoFix88 and at Savory_Edition. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter. We got the same handles there. Be sure to also follow us on TikTok. We got our handles there. It's steady booming, moving, and growing right now. We're also building our Instagram at Drinks with a Nobody. We're building that community. We're also starting off that Discord. We want people to chat, talk, discuss, break bread over everything right there on the Discord, Drinks with a Nobody. And in case you miss any of our previous broadcasts, you know where to go. Go on the YouTube, type in Drinks with a Nobody. Click that subscribe button, click that notification bell so when we go live, you know it. Hey, Savory.
I like that rundown, bro. That rundown.
Hey, Savory.
You ready for today? A1Z to the T. Yo, meet us at the back. Ain't no problems. Yeah, bang.
Hey, Savory, what are we trying to do? What audience are we trying to gather and why?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep the same momentum as Macho here. Welcome. This is Drinks with a Nobody. What do we do here, man? We invite open conversation to those who are open to really have that conversation, whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you look a bit odd saying your thoughts and opinions, whether you feel a bit different. This is your channel. Why? Because all ideas, all thoughts, all of that is accepted here. We might disagree. You might disagree with us. But hopefully we create that community of people just challenging one another, growing with one another, and being right. Let's do it. Drinks
and do not do this without a drink, folks. Go ahead, go in that fridge, get that beverage of choice. Doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage. And if you get an alcoholic beverage, please drink responsibly. What do you got today, Savory?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into this. We got a messy trial with the Rittenhouse case. And we got a throwback.
Really?
Oh. Throwback. I don't know if y'all heard this name in the minute.
Hold up. We got a throwback.
Ahmaud Arbery. Did I say his name right? I think I did actually right now.
The innocent jogger we got here.
Innocent jogger and the white supremacist, according to the media, aka we will decide what that is, hopefully. But anyways, it is getting real. Both trials, one is behind the scenes, the other one is straight up in our face. And we got about to break down some of the highlights and interesting points on these cases, man. Macho, what are we starting with? Talk to us.
So you want using deadly force to protect yourself and using it to protect property, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Richards? Your Honor, Mr. Bingard is either forgetting court's rulings or attempting to provoke a mistrial in this matter. He knows he can't go into this and he's asking the questions. I ask the court to strongly admonish him, and the next time it happens, I'll be asking for a mistrial with prejudice.
By the way, he could ask for a mistrial right now, Savory.
That's...
What just happened? What is going on?
Look, man. From what I'm understanding right here, he bought something in front of the jury, right, that you're not supposed to bring up because the judge told you that's not acceptable. And from what I learned from you prior to this podcast is when you do that, right, the judge has just let you know that you can't bring something up when you bring it up, which makes sense, right? In the court of law, it's like, yo, we just told you can't bring this up. So now you're swaying how people are thinking about the case, and you're adding stuff to the case that in the first place should not be acceptable because it's irrelevant to the case. I'm a quick learner. I think I got it. Right?
The court deemed it irrelevant.
Yes.
Or
exactly.
the court deemed it prejudicial is what my fiance would say. That's more prejudicial than probative. I don't know what the actual terms mean being, soonly married to a lawyer. I don't know what all these terms mean, but I'm learning on the fly. I listened to her, and she told me what just happened here was a gross miscarriage of justice, and we're going to get into why. And be patient with us. We have to stop the clip every now and then, just as a heads up, for copyright reasons. We do not want to get flagged. We want to grow our channel. We want to grow our content. So be prepared with us as we go through this clip here.
Sir.
He's an experienced attorney, and he knows better.
Mr. Finger?
First of all, Your Honor, this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that. And the court left the door open.
Okay, I just want to say something right quick right here.
Left the door open.
He's saying, okay, he knows that this may have caused an issue in the trial or in the case between the attorneys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he turns it around and puts it on the judge and says, you left the door open for this. When they say the court, they're talking about the judge. The judge left the door open on this.
Yeah, not him.
Watch what happens.
For me, not for you.
Yeah, the court doesn't leave it open for the lawyer to
You should have
decide.
come and asked for reconsideration. You did on the one motion, and in fact, I granted your motion for reconsideration.
That was not a motion.
Excuse me. I did. I granted.
We did not move
That
for
was
reconsideration.
their motion.
We have not filed
forgive
any
me.
motions to reconsider
Forgive
in
me.
this case.
That was their motion for reconsideration, which I denied. But I said I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Held it open with a bias towards denial. Why would you think that that made it okay for you, without any advance notice, to bring this matter before the jury?
So he's trying to. So the prosecutor is trying to find a specific loophole and saying, I'm inclined to that this is leaning towards a bias towards denial, meaning I'm here to see where this goes as a judge, but talk to me first prior to bringing this up in front of the jury. When you bring this up in front of the jury, now we have to strike it from the record, but we can't strike it from their memory. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Now, what I'm understanding here, I just pulled this up, very relevant. What is a mistrial? I'm wondering how they're going to define it, right? So, in the American judicial system, great pains are undertaken in order to ensure that trials, whether civil or criminal, are fair and impartial. Makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. This entails following a great many rules and procedures. Sometimes mistakes are made, rules are broken, unforeseen events take place. And when that takes place, exactly what you're saying, Macho, if it's swaying, right, in some type of way, the jury and just the trial in general, that's reason to.
Well, there's a couple of things.
Right.
What just happened here?
A definition to help me out.
Just as I was reading up on this, there's a couple of things that can happen. See, now the defense is giving the prosecution a chance. That's number one. He says if he does this again, he could do this right now. He could call it right now. Says, listen, I'm motioning for a mistrial. I'm motioning to acquit on all charges on the basis of what just transpired.
Why don't you think he did that now?
Only because there's another option here, Savory. And the other option is you can see the trial through, okay? Yeah. And then when you go to what is the other option? The other option is that You can appeal the case. You could appeal the decision. And based on the shenanigans that were going on here, this would be a eye-opening attempt to say for an appellate judge to say, I'm considering on reopening this case based on what just happened there.
Yeah, and it was a strategic move because also it seems like for the defense, the trial is going well, right?
Yes, and the other
from a subjective, objective way where I'm looking at it. I don't know what people think about that, but it seems like the defense is taking more leaps to prove that this was self-defense.
And check this out. Here's another option. Here's the third option, and that is see the court case through. Remember, I said he can call it now. He could see it through and then go on appeal through the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But he could also, here's another one, in that he can see this through. The jury could even convict Kyle Rittenhouse. And guess what happens? The judge can turn around and says, I'm motioning to mistrial. I'm deciding that
the judge could do that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because again, based off what the judge wants to see where the jury stands. Are they going to convict this man based off what they heard now? And I'm inclined to believe that. And now let me see how they decide. Let me see their verdict. Once I see their verdict, I would say, you see, it swung too much in favor and towards the prosecution. That's a miscarriage of justice. I'm going to step in here and I'm going to call. I'm a motion to acquit. And the judge can do that. That's in the judge's power.
Yeah.
So again, that's three options that the defense has. That's why I think he didn't ask for it right now.
I'm seeing some headlines here that says Rittenhouse defense asks for mistrial with prejudice.
Yes.
So did they actually ask for that?
I'm assuming, because remember this happened. I don't know. I don't know what happened today. To be 100% honest with you.
Today is what? What's today's? Is today the November? Okay, this was from yesterday. Okay, so
yeah.
All right,
so either maybe at the end of this trial hearing yesterday, maybe they actually did motion for a mistrial because again they saw the caricature of the judge and how he respond to the prosecutor, and he actually admonished him in front of the jury, meaning that's not good. He yelled at him in front of the jury. And then they had to take out the jury. They had to work this whole thing out because this was a gross miscarriage of how you even practice law. And this could even affect his bar license as well. So
this is great. Getting straight, these are important details. I love that we're sharing this with people because these are important things, right? Again, this doesn't mean we make a whole assumption on the case, right? Go watch what you can from the case. But these moments like this are important, and unfortunately, the media will not cover that in an honest way to really give you an opportunity to decide, right? What I'm learning about the media, like what you spoke about on TikTok, right? They're caring about their ratings, right? They're not really caring about giving you that information. So stuff like this, it would be so beautiful in a dream world for the media to lay it out, But
again, their job is not to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Their job is to report the news, and the news that they see fit that'll bend in favor to their audience. They want to gather and gain as much views, as much eyeballs as possible, because what does that do? It increases their ratings. And when they increase their ratings, they increase their paychecks. This is a consumer-based economy, folks.
Yeah.
You can't apply capitalism to one side, not to every side. It's in everything here.
Yeah, good point. We playing this bit more or
well, I want to get to the point where he actually yells at him, and then we're going to explain why he actually got mad, because we're giving our point of view.
For sure.
We're going to have to take
If you're on YouTube joining us, feel free to comment. We'll love to know who you are. So feel free to, just join us on this convo. Let's keep playing this.
Thanks for joining as well.
I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. And it gives, I'll leave it at that. So I don't know what you're up to.
He had to be very careful with what he said there. That's why he said he didn't want to. He didn't want to give an idea to the defense. He didn't want to share an inside scoop as to actually they could call for a mistrial right now.
Yeah. Or he didn't want to make it seem like, hey, doesn't look good for you, because as a judge, you can't do that either. You can't really, even though it doesn't, we got to decide that. The jury has to decide that.
And it's very clear. He's actually pointing out something very clear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So before you even play that, really quick, I love this, what we're doing here, because you're reminding me, and I'm just pulling certain stuff up. Fifth Amendment, no person shall be held to answer for a capital, otherwise infamous crime unless or precedent indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the law, right? Subject to the same offense, twice put in jeopardy of life and limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived in life, liberty, and property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. I read a lot of it, but the point is, you have the right to not take the stand, for example, to remain silent, to face your accuser. This is all about the Fifth Amendment. So that's why he got so flustered right now. As a judge, he's supposed to uphold these amendments. So he's furious about it, which is rightly so, I would say. Yeah, but that's beautiful.
May I respond?
Yes.
We filed an other acts motion on this exact issue because, in my mind, and I argued this, it is identical to what was going on the night of August 25th, in the sense that the defendant was using this exact same weapon. He was using it in a manner to try and protect property.
No, he wasn't.
Your Honor, with all due respect,
I'm not going to rehash the motion. That's absolutely untrue. No. Your argument's of record. My comments are of record, and why I ruled as I did.
All right. I want people to understand here, right? Because this is something I watched.
Oh, he's pissed. He's pissed here
right now. Why? Because this is something that was already fleshed out in the motion of this trial, right? So they already fleshed this out in the motion of this trial. So now he's saying he made a statement that is kind of also out of line. Like that one might be even worse because he just made an assumption that Cal, is he the defendant? Is that the right term for him?
Yes.
Sir, the defendant is using the weapon to protect property. Like when you say stuff like that, it's almost like you're drawing a conclusion, and they already fleshed that out.
Do that. You're not supposed to draw that conclusion, especially in front of the freaking jury, dude. You're not. How is he a seasoned lawyer making these kinds of mistakes? Again, this is what happens to polarization. Not even rusty, Savory. This is what happens with polarization. You think you can get away with things when, in fact, you can't. It's just really clear. First off, who has ever made a comment in the court of law about a post-arrest silence? It is your Fifth Amendment right. And no prosecutor nor defense should ever comment about that. Ever.
Wow, that was huge, man.
That is extremely prejudicial. Extremely prejudiced.
Not a good day for the prosecutor.
Oh my goodness.
I got that much to say. Not a good day, people. That's crazy. Even seeing it now again with you and just talking, I'm like, that's not good. But anyways,
no, absolutely not. I want to get into the explanation part as to why he got upset, because you're just hearing it from us nobodies. But let's see what the media is saying as to why the judge here got upset at the prosecutor, the seasoned, quote unquote, seasoned prosecutor.
Today, the judge not holding back. He scolded the prosecutor several times.
You should have come and asked.
And he didn't stop there. Our Jim Williams is here with what made the judge so angry and how it could impact the case. Jim.
Erica and Brad, the judge even questioning the prosecutor's basic knowledge of law. It was a real tongue lashing centering around the questioning of Rittenhouse.
Lead prosecutor Thomas Binger asked Kyle Rittenhouse why he chose to remain silent about the shooting until his testimony this morning.
I am making the point that after hearing everything in the case, now he's tailoring his story to what has already been introduced.
Pause that. Okay, this is something I've learned too. It was a live I was watching. He's a veteran armed force, and I was just kind of learning. And he said some great points. So, right there, right? You can't really do that, man. This is the thing. It's an entire narrative that's attempted to be painted, right? I won't go into too much detail so we could keep watching it, but this is why it's an entire narrative at least from my perspective. I'll let the public decide what they think, but you can't paint an entire narrative of what you think this case should be before they flesh out all the facts. This is one of the big red flags I'm seeing here. You can tell he came in almost with the boldness of the backing of the media and politicians. I don't know if it has anything to do, but they feel like he came up with that backing. Like, yo, you have to prove your case in court. You can't just come because you think you have the side of public opinion, you know? But
exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
That's a great point. I was just looking at some notifications here, just trying to keep an eyeball on some of the updates of the case.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, great point, Savory. You cannot just make these analysis or statements now when that's all pre-trial discussed. That has to be mutually agreed on. That has to be decided and messed through before you even have the jury in your presence. So let's continue with this explanation here.
That prompted Judge Bruce Schrader to admonish Binger, the prosecutor, in no uncertain terms.
I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that.
It's not a good day for the prosecutor.
CBS 2 legal analyst Irv Miller says the judge was correct.
What the prosecutor was trying to do was saying, hey, listen, this is the first time you told this story, basically. You had all this time, that's what he implied, to tell people about what happened, and you chose not to. That's a clear violation of the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights.
Schrader criticized Binger for, in the judge's view, trying to get around his past rulings on what could be introduced in the trial.
And what you're telling me, you're an experienced trial attorney, and you're telling me that when the judge says, I'm excluding this, you just take it upon yourself to put it in because you think that you've found a way around it? Come on. When you say that you were...
I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that, folks.
Yeah, and again, I want to remind people, look, Fifth Amendment, no person, I'm reading it right now, should be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless present indictment of a grand jury, right? So you can't just, in this country, you can't lock someone up, arrest them and say, were you stealing that house? Did you kill that? You can't interrogate a person, not even when you take them into the precinct, like they have their day in court, and that's why you can demand a lawyer. By the way, many countries don't have that, which is our Fifth Amendment right, the right to remain.
I will clarify that honestly. That actually, they can interrogate, they can say whatever they want, they can ask you all these kinds of questions. What
But
he's
you
saying
can remain
specifically, if you simply say I plead the Fifth, you cannot, as a lawyer, say, well, why did you plead the Fifth? Well, why did you obtain silence? Who said that you could ever comment or question? He's saying that's been basic law as a seasoned, and he added and he noted, you are a seasoned prosecutor, you are a seasoned lawyer.
Yeah, he was pissed. And then
this doesn't make sense.
Another thing that I saw the armed forces guy that brought it up on TikTok yesterday, which is he makes a point, which is very foolish of him to say. He said after all the witness testimony, he comes up on the stand. First of all, Hal doesn't control when he takes the stand. He's not here like, oh, I'm gonna go third. He doesn't control that. Your lawyer strategically controls that, so the witnesses and people come before you, then you come.
Excellent point.
His line of questioning was out of line. So now, like we said a little earlier, he can do a mistrial, right? He can call a mistrial, which I wonder where this is gonna go, because it seems like they called a mistrial. So I'm wondering if they call a mistrial, this country, I wonder, my mind is going, what does that do for the country? If they call a mistrial, he goes off, he's innocent. It just doesn't look good, even though the defense was winning so far this case, which is why they weren't too concerned with calling it right away. It seems like, but
yeah. Let's see what else. Anyone who is watching, just as a notice, tell us what your thoughts are. What do you think is going on here? Just give us your point of view. Maybe you're more seasoned or experienced, or maybe you're following more deeply on the trial and you got some pointers. Tell us. Let us know. I'm curious as to where you stand and why you stand in that direction.
Acting in good faith, I don't believe that, okay?
This afternoon, Rittenhouse's attorneys asked for mistrial with prejudice.
Yeah.
Irv Miller says the judge has three options: let the trial continue, declare a mistrial without prejudice, which would result in another jury selected, or declare a mistrial with prejudice.
A mistrial with prejudice means he walks out, Rittenhouse walks out of the courtroom, will never be tried again.
Oh, wow.
That is because of the double jeopardy.
Hold up.
Look at how bad this is.
All right, so check this out.
Look how bad this is, bro.
Hold up. I like to repeat this to myself to make sure I'm understanding, make sure the people are understanding. So a mistrial, that's what I was curious about. So a mistrial without prejudice means you can trial it again with a new jury, from what I understand. A mistrial without prejudice means the man goes off free because
it's the other way. It's the other way around. It's the other way.
With prejudice is
with
the one.
prejudice,
Okay,
you can't ever try him again. He walks out free man. He's acquitted. That's it. It's done.
And that's what they asked for.
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
That's what they asked for. So without prejudice would mean they can trial him again with a new jury.
Correct.
This is interesting.
This is. I don't know why this isn't sparking outrage. And I'm not asking for riots. Listen, I'm not on any side here. I'm not for Kyle. I'm not against him. I'm for. Listen, if this was an act of self-defense, play it through. I want to see it through. I want to see what my legal standing is when it comes to self-defense. And I'm sure, Savory, you want that. I'm sure the public out there wants to know that.
Yeah.
And what is our legal standing in this country? These are decisive cases that if we get the answers to these things, hey, it'll probably help us down the line. I don't foresee myself being in a riot situation with an AR-15. Again, cultural differences is what we discussed yesterday. But at the end of the day, when we have this gross miscarriage of justice, this doesn't tell the citizen anything. It doesn't tell us anything. It just tells us that this blunder will lead to this man's acquittal, which I think ultimately was going to go anyways. It was going to go in that direction. Because again, like you said, it was bending in favor of the defense anyways, the entire case. So this is insane right now. This is crazy. And this is just,
sloppy.
again,
Sloppy,
it's very sloppy. Honestly, I even think the Derek Chauvin case was sloppy. The prosecution did not bring up a good case. They thought it was a slam dunk. And obviously, you had politicians
That's the problem with these public cases that are on the public eye, with the media and all that stuff.
Especially when they're politically motivated.
Yeah.
Going into this next segment here, Savory, I have a question for you. Do you or do you not believe that America is obsessed with race?
I don't believe America is obsessed with race by any stretch of the imagination, right? Because, look, we have a system, man, and it's hard to point the American system to a racial bias. It's easy to point Americans' history, right, to a racial bias, right? But a history that was not living up to the standards of American values. See, big difference, I tell people. So we have to learn how to separate that and have honest conversations, right? We can't say because a certain part of history, something happened. And even when that was happening, when we look at Jim Crow and things like that, remember, the Constitution still said otherwise. You think so? You see what's beautiful about this country? So that's why we had a fighting chance. If not, we would be like many other countries who were never able to get above.
Because there was no precedence. There was nothing that was said before so that they can have a standard now and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Okay, I see how you answered that there, but I'm going to dig in a bit deeper. When these cases arise, the Kyle Rittenhouse, the Ahmaud Arbery, which is what we're segueing into, do these cases bring up the question of systemic racism or racism thereafter?
Yes.
By the public's concern.
Yeah. Are you saying within the system of the trial? Is it influenced by that? Are you asking me? Or is America viewing it like that?
Yes,
from outside?
That question.
Or is America viewing it like that?
Is our major mainstream medias, they
for sure?
Are they perpetuating? Is there an implied obsession with race?
I believe there is, yeah, and I believe it's strategic and purposefully. Why? Because it's just an added badge, right, of dismissing an American value, right? So right now, if you can make a case, right, you have, if a white person is being tried, you can use the white nationalist card. If a black person is being tried and he's on your side politically, you can use the oppression card, right? That he's not going to get a fair trial, so they almost cover their hands because they don't want to trust the system, because they believe, again, people who really dig deep into what America stands for or fight against what America stands for actually come with other values. They insert race. they insert gender, they insert these things, which again, we're all
Excellent point.
biased in our own way.
Excellent point.
But
Mhm.
this how I'm answering the question. I'll leave you with this. America's system, the system in itself does not show me that it has an inherent bias towards race or some kind of prejudice. Do people have that? Of course, but that's a whole different conversation, you know?
You're saying our system, our
Doesn't
legal
have that.
systems, our police systems, our working systems, like our economy, does not have an implicit bias on race, and they're not obsessed with it.
No, and if there is, please point me to it so I can get educated. I don't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take it. I see the angle you took, and I'm inclined to agree with that. But where I'm getting at is that our mainstream media, affirmative action, and so on and so forth, leads to the implication that our country is obsessed with race for a number of reasons. That anytime a particular case comes up, the race card comes up, like you just said, the gender card comes up, previous past history, things that were said before comes up, all these kinds of things in terms of their character. For example, what was the first things that you thought of or that you saw when you heard of the Ahmaud Arbery case?
The first narrative was an innocent black man jogging got gunned down.
Got trapped and was hunted.
Yeah.
And
Like,
he- and
literally,
then-
in simple terms, it was
Yeah.
an innocent black man that gunned down. So I'm like, damn. My first reaction was like, damn, that's not good. But
And it didn't look good. My initial reactions, I'm like, this don't look good, right?
Yeah.
But I need more information because you and I know that a simple clip, a 1 minute clip, or a 50-second clip, or 30-second clip doesn't tell me anything.
And it doesn't hold in court. You know what I'm saying? You don't want those
man,
things to
what a
hold in
point.
court. You know what I'm
What a
saying?
point.
The only thing is,
Yeah.
I tell people, even if you believe that, right? You're going off a clip that, remember, you don't want to be judged yourself. You don't want to be judged by clip. There's clips that you can edit out of a conversation, what the media does, of an instance. I can clip out moments in your life if you're recorded 24 hours that would make you look guilty towards something. That's just the way the world works.
What a point.
You know,
What a
so
point.
anyways, yeah.
Well, my first initial thoughts on what I saw was, again, I heard innocent jogger,
Yeah.
a black male who ran through a predominantly white neighborhood.
Mhm.
Again, obsession with race. Black male running through a white neighborhood. How do I know that neighborhood is white? I don't live in that neighborhood. I'm in New York City. How does that resonate with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there white neighborhoods in New York City? Of course. But does it matter to me? No, it doesn't matter
point.
here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the obsession is by the mainstream media's depiction on race. Why does that matter? It could have been just a male was running through a community and was perceived to be possibly burglarizing a place. We don't know. But other citizens attempted to gain citizens arrest over this individual. And in the midst of that, a shot goes off, 2 shots goes off, and then boom. That tells me a neutral, non-biased media perpetuating the news. But again, that's
Well,
not their
shame
job.
on you. Then we won't have Black Lives Matter marching. Come on, man. All right, let's do this. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so what was the initial thought of what I saw? That he was jogging. However, months later, they released the footage of what Ahmaud Arbery really is like. Savory.
What's your name? What is it? Ahmaud? I'll tell you why I'm here, man. Why? I'll tell you why I'm here. Because this area is home for drug activity.
Drug? How the?
Turn around and put your hands on the car.
Why?
Turn around, put your hands on the car.
What's up? What
Turn around, put your hands on the car. I'm checking you for weapons. I'm checking you for weapons.
You got no reason to touch me, bro.
I'm not searching you. I'm
Hold
checking
up,
you for
hold up,
weapons. All right,
hold
man?
up,
You don't have
hold up. Wait
never
a
saw
minute.
this?
Let's pause
Wait,
this
wait.
video now.
You never saw this?
Never saw this in my life. Why? Because this is what the media wanted me to never see this. The media didn't want me to see it, and I didn't see it. I didn't go too deep into this case, and the media never wanted me to see it.
Oh, and we
And I
lost
can
some
tell you the
YouTube
average
viewers.
person never saw that video.
And guess what? We lost some YouTube viewers. I guess they don't like that.
Oh yeah, I saw it when damn, like damn. But let's do it. Let's do it. This is what we stand for. This is what we do. I love it. Can you keep playing that? Jeffrey said the media
And
loves running
Jeffrey,
with the narrative.
thanks for joining, bro. Thanks for giving us a view on YouTube. Appreciate you, brother.
My
Thank
guy.
you. Yeah, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? All of a sudden, we had a good following on YouTube just now, and boom, we played that video. They're like, I'm out.
Here we go. Yeah, that was love it, love it.
We got nigga haters here.
No. Let's see.
I know, but you're coming up on me. You make me kind of nervous. Okay?
You bothering me for nothing. I work at Blue Beacon, bro.
Harry, you're jumping around, getting a little bit nervous on me. I think I see something plastic in the thing over here.
Go ahead, bro. You can't go in my car.
All right, I'm not a police officer. Never was. But there's a couple of things I want to address. Being that I'm soon to be married to a lawyer, there's a couple of things I want to address with you, Sari. Ready? And that is a police officer under suspicion can do exactly what this officer just did. If you're getting jumpy, if he feels nervous, if he feels in danger, he can take the necessary action to control and subdue the situation.
But listen, hold up. Let's keep this even simpler.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna keep it even a little simpler, right? Because we tend to do what you did. I hear that a lot, which is valid. You're giving an objective, but let's be honest. If you're in the police officer situation, objectively speaking, is the man jumpy? Is the man acting? Yes. Like, who would say no to this? Are you gonna say, "Oh no, it was a regular routine stop"? No, you know something's off. So put yourself in the officer's shoes and think to yourself, what would you do? You'll probably do the same thing.
No, I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm from New York. I'm not from Georgia. Anyone want to school me on this?
Yeah,
why this man is parked on the grass by train tracks?
Yeah, we not hip with that. So I don't know either. I can't help
I'm
you
not
either.
from Georgia. I don't know. Please correct me,
Yeah,
educate me. Why is this man parked on the grass, and why is he shirtless under a snorkel?
Yeah,
Like
hold up. Can we keep playing that? Because we in the heat of this. Hold up. This is like... if y'all just joining us, I'm an Arbery.
Don't reach the car, man.
Over here.
Hands out your pocket.
Down. Warning, down.
Stay on the ground. Just stay on the ground, okay?
Keep your hands out. No, keep
I've
your hands
checked. I've
out.
already checked him
Listen
for
to me.
weapons. I've checked him for weapons. I saw some kind of plastic in there. If it's weed, I don't care. So with that being said, you mind if I just look in your car really quick? Would you be okay with that?
Why are you checking in my car?
You can say no if you don't want us to check your car. Okay.
You heard what he just said there?
No.
The officer actually educated him and said, you could say no if you don't want us to search your car.
Yeah.
I have to ask you because under suspicion, I saw something and I have to ask. I'm on camera here.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that you want to give these officers cameras. Guess what? They got to follow by the rule. They got to go by the letter.
Now they got to go even more to the T. He probably would have been like, you know what? We're going to let you go, but you can't. Now you're on camera too.
Yeah, because that could be negligence by the police officer. Again, it's all based on his judgment and any reasonable person standard. So all that stuff applies. Again, this is a different depiction than what we have seen in the media. Okay? First off, what is the thing that we saw? We see the pictures, the murals, everything. Is this picture of this boy, nice, innocent, and stuff like that. Again, one thing I learned in high school, I went to a performing arts high school, and the first thing, I went to Bronx Theater High School.
Oh, okay.
It was a new, probably experimental school that was started in upstate, Bronx, like all the way up there by Riverdale.
Gotcha.
And again, it was inside of Kennedy. But one thing that I did learn is about the essence of conflict. I will never forget it. One of my acting coaches, one of my acting teachers said that when you depict conflict, you have to depict it as two opposing forces. It takes two to tango. And I remember my acting coach saying this over and over again. Remember, it takes two to tango. So whenever there's a conflict, we don't just hear that this person was attacked. We want to know if there was a provocation. If this person, what did you say? Why did it happen in this way? So we can deal with all sides of this issue. Yes, obviously there's a person who is inflicting this harm. There's a person who's a victim. But that's not what we're looking for. Right now, what we're looking for is to figure out all sides of this situation. But the media wants to paint already because of public persona, because we live by opinion, by the mass hysteria, by the panic. that automatically we're going to assume Ahmaud Arbery was innocent. Why?
Yeah.
He hasn't even gone through the system yet. How can we validate his life, his lifeless body on the ground? How can we validate that if we haven't gone through court?
And if anything we can learn, right, from these two cases and even prior cases, like, we have to stop being judges and jurors when we watch a video, because it just not only does it not help you, right, because you don't want to be trialed like that. You would never want to be trialed by a video, and you won't, thank God, because of our system. But think about the whole motion of doing that. You are coming to assumptions based on, likely, if you think through the lens of race, your first reaction to a video like this is, oh, stopping another black man. I'm like, really? Let's go a little deeper, but
yeah.
But yeah.
Just for on this next clip here, Savory, just to introduce the defense attorney for Travis McMichael, just so that our audience is aware in case you're not following the case, and then we'll fill in the blanks from there.
On their bikes, the kind of neighborhood where when you're my age you go for a walk after dinner, the kind of neighborhood that we all kind of aspire to live in. It's safe, it's beautiful, you work in the yard, you play on the river. This is the family and community that Travis McMichael felt a duty and responsibility to during the course of events in 2019 and 2020. This is the family and community that made him willing to put himself at risk to help the police detain Ahmaud Arbery. The video that you watched probably 5 times in the state's opening statement doesn't even begin to tell the story in this case.
And that is the defense attorney for the Travis McMichael. First off, this case is so confusing, this trial, because you have 3 different attorneys for each individual on the defense, and you have a couple of prosecutors on the other side. So this case is already like a lot of things that they got to work through, sift through, and all that stuff. So this is like intense. My question, Savory, just out of curiosity before we get into this, is why isn't this on the mainstream news? Why isn't this like Kyle Rittenhouse case kind of thing? Because I didn't even know this case was going on. Did you?
Me either. I actually realized it was going on because I was watching the Kyle Rittenhouse hearing it while I was working today, and then in the side on YouTube it came up. I'm like, oh wait, I remember this name, Ahmaud Arbery. No, so I kind of like saw it from there that it was happening again. But
do you think it's strategic? Do you think that they don't want the riots of 2020 over the Derek Chauvin case? Do you think it's strategic? Do you think they don't want politicians to now mingle into this? What do you think?
It's a good question, man. Because then I have to ask myself, why play the Kyle Rittenhouse one, right? Because people are going to be just as outraged. So I'm kind of thinking, but maybe the Ahmaud Arbery, it's a black man that was the narrative they have to run with. They can't turn on now. It's harder to not turn on the narrative.
I'm going to be a bit cynical here. I'm going to be very cynical, okay? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Wisconsin voted what in 2020? What was their color?
Wisconsin voted. I'm not too sure. What did Wisconsin vote?
Wisconsin is blue. Georgia was red.
Okay.
So I don't think we're going to see the mass hysteria or panic, especially with a large Trump supporting in Georgia.
Damn. So it is politics.
I don't really believe, and I'm sure if I say it now, I'm sure some Black Lives Matter activist is going to get a hold of this, and they're going to see it says, you know what, we need to go to Georgia and cause nightmare. Good luck. Good luck.
So I think
there are people that look like you that actually voted for Trump there, and you're going to be surprised.
Yeah,
the resistance you're going to meet there in Georgia.
Yeah, good point. They probably couldn't rile up enough people like they would want to, so they kind of
first off, Kenosha, Wisconsin is chaotic. It looks like a nightmare. I mean, with the whole Jacob Blake thing, then you go over to Minnesota right next to it, and it looks like there's a nightmare going on over there with Ilhan Omar going on. I mean, anywhere, any of these Democrat cities, it looks like a nightmare. I'm not even gonna front.
Yeah.
So yeah, looks like we got a comment here.
So we got a comment here. Yeah, I know he getting jailed. Kyle is guilty.
Why? Why is he guilty? Guilty of what? Pulling the trigger?
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
Because I know he pulled the trigger. You know he pulled the trigger.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on why you think he's guilty. And are you also, this is my question to you, right? Are you basing that based on your decision you made prior to the case starting, right? Or are you making this based on the hours of footage you've seen on this case?
All right.
You know? So yeah.
Rosenbaum, other two were self-defense. Okay. I'm just further elaborate because we're not gonna.
So you think the other two were self-defense that he killed, but Rosenbaum that he did not kill was not self-defense?
And also, thanks for joining us, by the way. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your comments. This is exactly what we want here at Drinks with a Nobody. Yeah, thank you. And what was that last comment there?
So he said he was not in danger and Rosenbaum was chasing him. From what I'm seeing, again, from what I've heard and seen in the this trial, right? There was an instant where it did seem like his life was in danger, right? Because he had his hands up, it seems like, but then he pressed forward, so it's a lot to it, but we'll see. But do you think this is set in stone, or are you open to watching more of what unfolds?
He said, watch the drone footage. Doesn't the drone footage bend in favor of Kyle? Isn't that why this whole case is bending towards in favor of Kyle Rittenhouse?
Yeah, but yeah, we appreciate it.
And you're also missing one key point here, and that is one of the people who were chasing him. Two of the people who were chasing him. One had a skateboard, and the other one had a gun. So, you ever held a skateboard in your hands before? You ever felt the place where those wheels are, Savory, where the metal part is? Imagine hitting somebody over the head with that. Nope. Cool wasn't cornered. What does cool mean? Kyle, he means? He could have escaped and had a way to run away. Did you not see the man fall on the floor? Did you not see him fall on his back?
Yeah. He hit him, by the way, the skateboard hit him on the neck.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
so
okay. All right. Honestly, I appreciate this. Again, continue watching us. I hope this tickles your fancy to continue watching our point of view and our perspective here. Okay. Yeah. So let's continue watching this because the defense actually is bringing up a very interesting case. I'm going to bring up some highlights with that, Savory, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do this. Thanks.
It's like looking through that knothole in the fence and thinking you see the whole baseball field when you really only see the outfield. The case really begins months before in 2019 because Satilla Shores was a neighborhood on edge. Crime had gone up. It wasn't violent crime. It was property crimes. The kind of crimes that are unsettling. The kind of crimes that are scary. Because you don't know who's coming onto your property, who's in your car ransacking it, who's breaking into your buildings, who's stealing your lawnmowers or your guns.
Okay,
and so the neighborhood was on edge.
Yeah.
What was that,
for the people? He's describing some of what the neighborhood prior to Ahmaud Arbery was already going through. They went through some break-ins. They had some, which, it's good, yeah.
And honestly, that's all we need to play anyways. That was a great timing there, instinctually there, Savory. Again, I have one more clip here to share to add to the question that I asked earlier. Not really long, just really quickly, because someone had something to say about this from a racial standpoint, so that's why I want to go there. But the trial attorney, the defense attorney here in this case is painting a very good picture for Travis McMichael, and I thought it was very fascinating. And here's another case as well where the state prosecutor of Georgia is sloppy. I mean, extremely sloppy. She thinks it's a slam dunk. She thinks, yeah, these guys are going. I got public perception on me. I got the specifics of the case. I'm going to utilize exactly what the media did. And here comes this defense attorney for Travis McMichael, and he lays it out thoroughly. I mean, I didn't even know Arbery was around this neighborhood 4 times prior. I didn't even know Travis McMichael had an encounter with Arbery until I heard this. That when they initially had their encounter, that Arbery went to reach for his waistband, insinuating that he had a weapon on him. And that McMichael retreated. He ran. Okay? So then what do you think is going to happen the next time they see him? You think he's going to be like, oh, yeah, let me go with just my hands here and conduct this citizen's arrest? He's not going to do that, folks. And you got to read up on the Georgia law. You can conduct a citizen's arrest if you see, in fact, a crime being committed in your presence. So
again,
I'm not going to get into those details.
You see, let me just add on to your details really quick. All those details that you're mentioning are super important. Why? Because we realize that there's so much you don't know when you watch a 30-second to 1 minute clip. You don't know the history of the neighbor. You don't know the history of the people. You don't know. So we have to stop doing that, you know?
I'm laughing because one of the comments here. But again, it's all about race, my Latino brothers. Listen, we are free, loving, liberty Latinos here. And I hope that reminds you of somebody else that I also watch. And that's Chris Salcedo. He's a liberty-loving Latino. And that's what we are here at Drinks with a Nobody. And yes, if we do sound like Brandon Tatum, it's because we actually look to him for reference. It's just that. I'm not a police officer. I was never a police officer. But my whole point of matter is, at least he opens the door for us to look at this
to a new idea
in a more objective way. So, yeah. But again, if you are insinuating that we're Latin brothers, I hope you're Latin too. And thank you for joining the show. And honestly, I don't care about your race. I don't think that matters. Just to make that clear. This last slide, and then we're going to close with this one here, is just to continue that narrative. Is our country obsessed with race? And here's this last slide I want to play here.
The wider impact of Ahmaud Arbery's death and what this trial means when it comes to race relations in this country. We're joined now by NAACP President Derek Johnson for more on
NAACP President, baby. You live in a country where the minority is protected.
this. President Johnson, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
You know, here we are at day 3 of this trial. What stood out to you so far?
Well, 3 days, and I'm still trying to get a sense of the evidence of a crime that was committed. If we cannot establish that Ahmaud Arbery actually committed a crime or they had any notion of a crime, the outcome of this trial can determine whether or not being black, jogging in the neighborhood is an indictment.
All right, I'm done.
And there you go. That's where I want to keep it there. You again, with your instincts, you got good instincts, Avery. Again, who has attested or testified that Ahmaud Arbery jogged through this neighborhood normally? Who's the only person?
His own defense is not saying that.
Exactly. Not only that,
Not the case, though.
the only person that testified and said that and she didn't even say this on the record. She said this to the media because this was strategic, folks, was that mom said that, I don't know why they attacked him. He just jogs through that neighborhood. She's the only one that said it. And mind you, go back and look at the footage, folks. Who jogs in khaki shorts? Do you jog in khaki shorts, Savory? Is that a Georgia thing?
Not only have I not seen anyone do that, but I would never do that. So,
it's just not practical. It's not practical.
Yeah, man.
Look, this guy could be completely innocent. Let the facts play out in court. Let it all show. Let it reveal before we make our judgments. Again, the only reason why we're taking this other side is because too often our mainstream media takes the side of the person because they're black. They have to feel, well, they're disproportionately affected by the law, so let's support them. Let's give them this flame. Let's give them this gas, because if this happens, maybe our system changed. Change from what? From what exactly? And that's what I want to leave us with.
Media outlets sound like Stephen A. Smith. But again, I want to leave people with this. I appreciate all the engagement from everybody, and just the back and forth. That's we appreciate it. Again, like we always say, even though you might not agree with us, but from the perspective of looking at stuff from race and gender and things like that, what happens is, in seeking justice, you trap and box yourself in, right? Because then they can use that against us in different ways, right? It's almost like a road that's why freedom always wins, I tell people, right? So let's just be very careful to the way we try to frame stuff for our sense of justice, So, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining again. We appreciate you.
Yeah, and that's, again, this is Drinks with a Nobody. Here, we believe it's Switzerland, okay? Where everything gets to be talked about and discussed. Every idea gets to be presented, gets to be measured. We get to share things. Why? Because we want to show society how to find the happy medium. See, consider us your bartenders, your political bartenders, and we're serving you up this imaginary drink, okay? And here at this bar, we don't want to fight. We don't want any physical fights. Use your words. Let's talk this over like men, like women. Let's get to this, the other sides of the coins. Let's look at things from all perspectives. So that's what we want here at Drinks with a Nobody. We want to do this over a drink, figuratively, and we also want to do it physically. I always have coffee. Savory likes to have his wine with a little ginger shot, which is very questionable. But I'm going to leave that there. So again, this is Drinks with a Nobody. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on TikTok. We're moving and grooving. Savory likes to go live on TikTok, and he likes to address certain Q&As there to just try to get to know him a little bit more, to get personal with him. Also, we're building our Instagram. Go on our Instagram there. Also, look into our Discord where we continue having this discussion. We may only go live for an hour, only 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but our Discord is 24/7, y'all, and we can continue this conversation. And in case you missed any of our previous broadcasts, go on to YouTube, type in Drinks with a Nobody, hit subscribe, click that notification bell because we really will appreciate that, and we'll be able to grow in our content, and you'll never miss a thing. So yeah, happy Thursday to everyone. Hope everyone has a great evening. And at Drinks with a Nobody, this show may be over, but at Drinks with a Nobody, we don't believe in any last calls. So cheers. Keep the conversation going. Until mañana.